Hi students, this session we will take up percentages for SSC CGL exam, SSC CHSL exam, railways and other related exams. So we'll take a few questions, we'll discuss the concepts of percentages. Now, one suggestion from our side is, instead of watching all the questions and solutions, you pause the video of every question, you try for yourself for 30 seconds or 1 minute, then you continue with the solution. That will help you to improve your concept. For each question, we will try to give you the best possible approach for that particular question. So let's begin, students. Now, there is a small disclaimer here. The questions used in this presentation are, as I told you, actual questions that have appeared in previous SSC CGL exams. Right? The copyright of these questions belongs to the body conducting SSC CGL exam. These are not our questions. These are your actual exam questions that have appeared in previous SSC CGL exams. Right? Let's start with the first question, students. Now, here I will continue solving the questions, but you pause the video here, you try the question for yourself, then you continue with the solution. Right? Let us take up first question. The income of Raju is 20% more than his expenditure. Okay. If his income increases by 60% and expenditure increases by 70%, then by what percent does his savings increase or decrease? We have four options here. Decreases by 10%, decreases by 2%, increases by 10%, increases by 2%. Let us look at the solution, students. We all know income is nothing but expenditure plus savings. From this I can write savings is equal to income minus expenditure. So savings is nothing but income minus expenditure. Now, we have a relation between income and expenditure. Read the first sentence of the question. Income of Raju is 20% more than his expenditure. So income is 20% more than expenditure. Now, income is compared with expenditure. If I assume expenditure as 100, income is 20% more, income should be 120. So 120 minus 100, savings should be 20 rupees. Now income is compared with expenditure. Expenditure is the base. Always the base value or initial value, if you assume it as 100, your calculations would become easy. So income is 20% more than expenditure. So expenditure is 100. So income is 120, 20% more. So 120 minus 100, income minus expenditure is my savings. Savings are 20. Now income increases by 60%, expenditure increases by 70%. Let us see what will happen. Income increases by 60%. If you increase 60%, 120, how much is 10%? 10% would be 12. You have to put a point after one digit. 60%, it will be 12 into 6, 72. So income increased by 60% means income has increased by 72 rupees. So 120 plus 72, income should be 192. Then expenditure increases by 70%. So straight away it is 100 increased by 70%. That's the advantage of taking 100. Directly I can say it is 170. Increase by 70% means 70% of 100 will be 70. So increase of 70. So 100 plus 70, 170. 192 minus 170. My new savings are 22. So what are my actual savings? 20. What are my new savings? 22. Now what is the question? By what percent does the savings increase or decrease? 20 rupees savings in the next month have become 22, right? So it's a percentage increase. Difference 2, 20 and 22, difference is 2 upon what is the percentage increase or decrease formula? Difference by initial value. What is my initial savings and initial value? 20 into 100. Right, 2 upon 20 into 100, 2 goes 10 times. So it is increase of 10%. So savings increases by 10%. Saving increases by 10% is present in third option. So correct answer is increases by 10%. Right. Let us take up next question. So as I told you, after each question, you pause the video, you try the question for yourself, then continue with the solution. Let us take up second question. The income of A is 25% more than B and income of C is 65% less than sum of the incomes of A and B. So C is 65% less than sum of the incomes of A and B. Income of C is what percentage less than income of A? Let us solve this question, students. A, B, let's take C. Now, let us first look at relation between A and B. A is 25% more than B. A is compared with B. So, if you take B as 100, A should be 25% more. So, straight away we can write A as 125. If B is 100, A should be 125, right? Because A is 25% more than B. Now, what about C? C is 65% less than income of A and B. Now, we have studied in percentages. We all know that total is always 100%. If C is 65% less than sum of A and B, that means, can I say this way? C's value is 35% of sum of A plus B. That is sum of A and B. C is 65% because total is 100%. If C is 65% less, that means C's value should be 35% of sum of A plus B. So 35% means 35 upon 100 into sum of A and B. A and B is how much? 125 plus 100. It has to be 225. So it is 35% of 225. You got this point? This is important. C's income is 65% less than sum of incomes of A and B. Sum of incomes of A and B is 225. Nothing great in that. But C is 65% less than that. So total is always 100%. If C is 65% less, so C's value should be 100 minus 65. That instead of finding out 65% of 225, again subtracting from 225, it will be time consuming. So it is 65% less. That means C's value should be 35% of A plus B. If I say C is 20% less than sum of A plus B. So total is 100. If C is 20% less, then C's value should be, I'm taking an example. C's value should be 100 minus 20, 80% of A plus B. If C is 60% less than sum of A plus B. So C's value should be 100 minus 60, it should be 40% of A plus B. So C is 65% less, 100 minus 65. So C's value should be 35% of A plus B. Now 25 fours, 25 nines, 225. So this should be 35 into 9. I can say 35 tens 350. So it is only 9 times. Remove 135. It should be 315 upon 4. Don't simplify this. Don't get into points. You got this point? You either multiply 30 into 9 270, 5 into 9 45, 270 plus 45 is 315, or 35, 35 into 10 is 350. I want only 935. So remove 135 from 350. It has to be 315. Now question is between which two variables? Question is between income of C is what percentage less than income of A. How much is income of A? 125. How much is income of C? 315 divided by 4. Now don't waste your time simplifying that. 4 7s are 28, 35. Don't get into all, you'll get in points, right? Don't do this. See here, what I try to do is you have to eliminate this 4 here. So multiply both the terms by 4. Well, how much is 125 into 4? 500. Here if I multiply by 4, 4 will get cancelled. We'll get C as 315. Instead of getting into point, this is a better approach, right? So we have to remove this denominator 4 here. So multiply both the terms by, what I'm saying is 4. 125 into 4 is 500. If I multiply by 4, 4 will get cancelled, is 315. So A is 500, C is 315. Now question is simple. What is my question? C is what percentage less than A? Percentage less. Difference. What is difference between 315 and 500? 185. And in the denominator, we know that percentage less, it will be opposite of less, larger value. Which is larger value? 500 into 100. Right? 2 zeros will get cancelled. 5 3s are 15. 35, 5 7. So what percentage less? 37% less. Choice 4. You got that point? So A is 125, C is 315 upon 4. Don't simplify that, don't get into points. Multiply both the terms by 4. Then what will happen is A will become 500 and C will become 315. So percentage less, difference by opposite of less will write larger value. So 500 into 100. So C is what percent less than A. C is compared with A. So difference by, I am writing A value. Or shortcut is, or how to remember this is opposite of less. If it is percentage more, difference into 100 will be common. We will write opposite of more, smaller value. So it is less, opposite of less is larger value. So difference 185, larger value is 500 into 100. So it is 37% less. Fourth option should be your answer. Right? So same question. Let us look at alternate approach. I'll just look at another approach. Notes here. Now, if you're good at percentages, this way you can solve. Or if I am writing the exam, I would have followed the second approach, because see, you might be familiar with your reciprocal values. You might have solved so many questions. You might be convenient with the values. Now, see, A is 25% more than B, so I am saying you're taking B as 100, A is 125. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But if you look at here, my question is among C is what percent less than A. So I need to compare C and A. So what I try to do is, the question is about A and C. One of this is 100, then my calculation would become easy. You got the point? So I'm taking B as 100, C is 125, C is 60%, A is 125, C is 65% less, so 35% of the value. That procedure is okay. But here what I'm trying to tell you is, final question is between A and C. C is what percent less than A. So it is better among A and C, 1 is 100, it is always better. So what I would have done in the exam is, if I am familiar with percentage concepts, I would have done this, right? See, you solve so many questions, right? You will get this idea only by practicing more number of questions. So what I try to do is, I can take any value for B, right? So I'll assume B value is 80. Why 80? Because A is 25% more than B. 25% is 1/4 more, right? 25% is how much? 1/4. So 1/4, A is 1/4 more than a B. So 1/4 of 80 is 20 more. So A should be 100. You got the point? 1/4 of 80 is 20 more. So 80 plus 20, A should be 100. Now the final question comparison is among C and A. I am saying if I have one of these in 100, one of the values of these two, either A or C in 100, my calculations would become easy. So what I'm trying to do is, you can take B as 100, A is 125, that procedure is perfectly fine. But when you practice so many questions, you should get this idea by default, right? So I'm assuming B as 80, only reason is 25% means 1/4, 1/4 means 20 more, A I'm getting it as 100, then it will be easy, right? So C is 65% less than sum of A and B, that means C's value is 35% of sum of A and B, 35% means 35 upon 100 into A plus B is 100 plus 80, in this case A plus B, 100 plus 80, it should be 180, A plus B. So 35% of 180. 0, 0, 2 5s, 2 9s, 5 goes 7 times. 7 into 9, 63. Now I need not do so many calculations here. Now, what is the question? C is what percentage less than A? A value is 100. You can directly say C value is 63. So straight away I can say A is 100, C is 63. 100 minus 63, C is 37% less than A. Option 4 should be next. C, I have taken 100, 125, then 35% of 225, that is fine. But I am saying, once you practice those reciprocal values, you should remember 25% is 1/4 more. So if I take B as 80, 1/4 means 20 more, so A should be 100. So if I get one of these two, A or C, into 100, then my calculation would have been much easier. See, I don't even calculate percentage less here. I'm not even calculating percentage less here. So income of C is what percent less than A is 100, C is 63. Straight away I can say 37%. This kind of approach is recommended in the examination, students. Okay, let us take up next question. Question number 3. 85% of a number is added to 75. Okay, the result is the number itself. The number is. So 85% of a number you are adding to 75. The result is the number itself. Okay, let me solve this question. 85. Let the number be x. Right. So 85% of x plus added to 75, I am adding this to 75, then I am getting the number itself, that means it is equal to x. 85% of x means 0.85x. 85% means 85 by 100, that is nothing but 0.85, plus 75 is equal to x. I can say 75 is equal to x minus 0.85x is 0.15x. X is equal to 75 upon 0.15, or I can multiply by 100, 75 100 by 15. 15 goes 5 times. So 500 should be your answer. Answer choice 1. 500 is your answer. Now, let us look at, this is one way to solve this question. Alternate approach would be, see this. I am adding 85% of x of a number to 75. That is equal to the number. I am adding 85% of a number. It is equal to the number. Equal to the number means number should be 100%. The given number is always 100%. 85% of a number plus something is equal to number. The number is 100%. That means plus something. That means I am adding 75. Then I am getting that number. So 85% of a number plus adding something is equal to my given number. The given number should be always 100%. So when you are adding 85% of a number and rest of the thing should be 15% of the number. So 15% is equal to 75, 15% of the number, 100% of the number should be how much? 15 5s, 75, 100 5s, it should be 500. Don't cross multiply 100 into 75 by 15, 15 5s. Don't do all those things. Here 15 into 5 is 75. So 100 into 5 should be 500. Directly I can say first option should be my answer. This approach you should follow tomorrow in the exam. This is a regular approach. Anybody can solve that. But you're writing a competitive exam, right? So what you need to look at is, okay, I'm adding 85% of a number plus something extra I'm adding. Then it is equal to the number. Equal to the number means the given number is 100%. So 85% plus how much is 100%? 85% plus 15% should be 100%. That means whatever you are adding, that is equal to 15% of the number. So 15% of the number is 75. 100% of the number should be how much? It has to be 500. Got the point? Okay. Let's check up next question. Okay. Look at this question, students. If decreasing 120 by x%, okay, gives the same result as increasing 40 by x%. Okay, decreasing 120 by x% gives us the same result as increasing 40 by x%. Then x% of 210 is what percentage less than x plus 2% of 180? X plus 20% of 180. Basically, we should know x value. Now, see here. 120 decreased by x%. So, new value should be 100 minus x by 100 into 120. Right? Now, maybe the previous question I will show you where we have discussed about C. Here, C is 65% less than sum of A and B. So, total is 100%. C is 65% less. 100 minus 65 is 35%. If C is 70% less, 100 minus 70, C's value is 30%. So, basically, if C is x% less, 100 minus x%. So, that's what I am writing here. So, decreased by x% means total should be 100. So, new value should be 100 minus x%. It is 60% less. New value should be 100 minus 60, 40%. So, x% less, new value should be 100 minus x%. So, 100 minus x percentage means by 100 into 120 is equal to, the result is same as increasing 40 by x%. 40 increased by x%. So, new value should be 100 plus x by 100 into 40. That increased by 20% means new value should be base is 100, 100 plus 20, 120%. Increased by 30% means 100 plus 30, 130%. Increased by x% means 100 plus x%. So 100 plus x by 100. So anyways, 100, 100 here will get cancelled. 40 goes 3 times in 120. 300 minus 3x is equal to 100 plus x. So if you simplify, we'll get 4x is equal to 200. From this I can say x is equal to 50. So, now what is the question? Look at this way. X% of 210. X is 50%, right? So, x value is 50. So, 50% of 210. 50% of 210 is half, 105. What percentage less than x plus 20% of 180? X is 50%, right? So, 70% of 180. How much is 70% of 180? We know that 10% is equal to 180, 10% is 18, 70% means 7 times. 18 into 7, you know 18 table, 126. You should learn table, students. So, one is 105, the other value is 126. Right? Now, x% of 210 is what percentage less? This value is what percentage less than this value? Percentage less. Difference 21. We have discussed this earlier. Percentage less means it will be opposite of less. Opposite of less is larger value. Which is larger value? 105, 126, 126. Up into 100. 21 goes 6 times. So 1 by 6 is nothing but 16.66%, or I can say 16 2 by 3%. So correct answer is 16 2 by 3%. Choice 3 should be your answer. Right? Now, I'll tell you one point here, just here. If I take 120, I am decreasing it by x%. This value when I am decreasing by x% is equal to 40 when I am increasing it by x%. See, this is how you should write. Decrease by x% means 100 minus x by 100 into 120 must be equal to increase by x% means 100 plus x by 100 into 40. Simplify. But see, if you're very good at percentages and numbers, multiplication tables, you might have studied those reciprocal values, right? So what happens is, if I decrease it by certain percentage, the value I'm getting here must be equal to the value that is increased certain percent here. So first what I try to decide is whether it is less than 50% or more than 50%. So try 50%. So what is 50% decreased? 50% means half. It will be 60. If I increase this by 50%, right? 50% means half. What is half of 40? 20. So 40 increased by 50% is 20. So these two are getting equal. So x value should be how much percent? Orally I can say 50. So depending on that, if it is not exactly 50, I'll try less than 50 or more than 50, depending on the values we are having there. So by looking at it, I can say 120 decreased by certain percent must be equal to 40 increased by certain percentage, same percentage, right? So 120 decreased by same percentage, 40 should increase by same percentage, both are equal. So I'm looking at 50. By looking at the numbers, I'm trying 50%. So 50% of 120 means half, 60. Similarly, 50% of 40 means 20. Increase by 20, 40 plus 20, 60. So directly I can say x is 50. Then I can solve the rest of the questions. So if you're comfortable, if you're convenient with the tables and those reciprocal values, then you'll be able to do this orally directly, students. Okay, let us take up next question. Question number 5. When the price of an item was reduced by 20%, then its sale increased by x%. If there is an increase of 60% in the receipt of revenue, then the value of x is, okay, we can write revenue is nothing but price into sales. Revenue is nothing but income. See, the regular approach is I will assume price as 100, sales as 100, such that my revenue is 100 into 100, 10,000. What happened? Price of item reduced by 20%. So 100 has reduced by 20%. Straight away 100 would become 20% reduction, 80. We don't have information about sales. Let us take it as sales as yes. We don't know value. This is equal to, there is an increase of 60% in the revenue. 10% would be how much out of 10,000? 10% is 1,000. Increase of 60%. 60% means 6,000. So 60% increase means 6,000 increase. So 10,000 plus 6,000, it has to be 16,000, right? So here if you simplify, you will get S is equal to 200. Now what are my sales here? 100, right? Sales increased by x%. That's my old sales are 100, my new sales are 200. Straight away it has doubled. Doubled means I can say 100% increase. 100% is present in third option. You got the point? So if the value has become k times, you know this, right? So if the value has become k times, the percentage increase would be k minus 1 into 100%. Right? If the value has become 3 times, so 3 minus 1, 200%. Here value 100 has become 200, so value has become how many times? Sales 2 times. So 2 minus 1, 1 into 100, 100%. Value has become 4 times, 300%. 8 times, 1 less, 8 minus 1, 700%. 10 times, 900%. 3.5 times, 3.5 minus 1, 2.5. 2.5 into 100 is 250%, right? So this is a standard. K times, it should be k minus 1 into 100%. So right, this is one way to solve this particular question. The second approach would be, see here students, this is product of two variables. Now you might have studied about successive percentage. Let me erase this. We might have studied about successive percentages, right? We know that revenue is price into sales. A value has increased by 10%, then they increase by 20%, or increase by 20, then decrease by 10. You have studied about successive percentages, right? In percentages, successive percentages. That is a formula in successive percentages. What is that? Net change is given by the formula x plus y plus xy by 100%. This is a standard shortcut formula, very important for percentages. Where will we use this? Let's say value has increased by 20%, then increased by 10%. If it is 3 successive percentages also, 2 successive percentages, directly 20 plus 10 plus 20 into 10 by 100, we can say 32%. Increase or decrease also we can find, both decreases also we can find, we can also apply for 3 successive percentages. Increase by 20, then 10, then 5. Only thing is that you have to apply this formula 2 times. Now the same formula is applicable for product of two variable questions. Like what? See here, this is revenue is price into sales. For this question you can apply this formula. Expenditure is price into consumption. You might have studied these type of questions, right? So you can apply this formula. Or area of a rectangle is length into breadth. Any product of two variable question, successive percentage, we can apply this formula. We can also apply this formula for compound interest to find net rate of interest. When you are discussing compound interest, we can discuss. So in compound interest, to find net rate of interest, we can apply this formula, right? So for 2 years, net rate of interest in compound interest 10%, 10%, let us say, compounded annually 10%. So for 2 years, 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 by 100, it has to be 21%. So successive percentages, increase, decrease, both increases, both decreases, we can apply. 3 successive percentages, 4 successive percentages also we can apply. You have to apply 2 times, 3 times the same formula. This formula is also useful to find net rate of interest in compound interest for 2 years. This formula is also useful particularly in percentages for product of two variable questions like this. Revenue is price into sales, area of rectangle is length into breadth, expenditure is price into consumption. Now see here, now price of item reduced by 20%. So this is decrease. Decrease means you have to take it as minus. So minus 20 plus sales, we don't know why, plus minus 20 into y by 100. I am applying on this formula. X plus y by 100. Price reduced by 20%. Reduced, so I am taking minus 20. Sales we don't know, plus x minus 20 into y by 100 is equal to net change. What is my net change? What is happening to my revenue? Increase of 60%. So revenue should be plus 60. Now in this case, if it is decrease of 60%, my net revenue should be minus 60. Net change. If it is decrease, I will use minus 60. If it is increase, I will use plus. So instead here also, if the price has increased by 20%, I would have taken plus 20. Decreased by 20%, so minus 20. Sales we don't know, plus y. Plus minus 20 into y by 100 is equal to revenue. There is an increase of 60%, so plus 60. In case it is decrease, then I have to take minus 60. Remember that, right? Now what will happen? 20 goes 5 times. So 5y minus y. 4y upon 5. If I send this minus 20 this side, 60 plus 20 is 80. 4 goes 20 times, so y is equal to 20 into 5, 100. So revenue, what is the question? Sales increased by x%, that is nothing but 100%. 100 is present in choice 3. So this is a very, very important concept and important formula, friend. Right? So x plus y plus xy by 100%. You can use for successive percentages, increase, decrease, both decreases, both increases. Product of two variables, revenue, price into sales, expenditure, price into consumption, area of a rectangle, length into breadth, length increased by 20, breadth increased by 10. You can directly, instead of taking the procedure 100, 100, multiplying and solving, directly I can apply the formula. Only thing is that if it is decrease, we will take minus. If it is increase, we will take plus. If the final value is plus 100, so I am saying 100% increase. If it is minus 100, I would have said 100% decrease. So if the final answer is negative, don't worry. The negative sign indicates it is decrease, students. Okay, let us take up next question. Question number 6, students. A is 20% less than B, C is 30% more than D, D is 25% less than A, then which of the following is true? Now if I look at my options, all my options, we have a relation between B and C only. Okay, let us look at this. A, B, C, D. A is 20% less than C. I am comparing A and B, so let us take B as 100. A is 20% less than B, so straight away A is 80. D is 25% less than A. 25% is nothing but what is the reciprocal? 1/4 less than A. So 1/4 of 80. So D is 20 less than A. So 80 minus 20, D is 60. So D is 25%. So 80 minus 20, D is 60. Or you can also solve like this. D is 25% less means D should be 75% of A's value. How much is 75%? 3/4. 3/4 of A is 80. 4 goes 20 times. I can say D is 60. Same thing. 1/4 less. So 1/4 of 80 is 20 less. 80 minus 20 is 60. Or 25% less means value should be 75% of A's value. 3/4 of 80. So it is 60. So C is 30% more than D. Now if I take C here, it is D value plus 30% more. So what is 10% of 66? 30% will be 18. 60 plus 18. C is 78. Now see here, we need relation between B and C. B is 100, C is 78. Now I can say C is 78% of B because B is 100, C is 78. So C is 78% of B, or I can say C value is 0.78 of B. That is nothing but Option 2, C is 0.78 of B. Right? Let's take up next question. Question number 7, students. Income of A is 50% more than that of B. The income of A is increased by 40% and income of B increased by 90%. Then percentage increase in their combined income will be okay. Okay. Let me write A, B values here. If I take B as 100, A should be 50% more, 150. What is their combined income? A plus B, 150 plus 100, it has to be 250. Right? Income of A is 50% more than B. So A is compared with B. So I'm taking B as 100. A is 50% more. So A should be 150. So A plus B is 150 plus 100, 250. That is combined income. Now income of A increased by 40%. When increased by 40%, what is 10% of A? 150 is total income of A. 10% is 15. 40% will be into 4 times. It is 60. 4 into 15, 60 increase. 150 plus 60. The new income should be 210. B increased by 90%. Straight away, 100 is the value, 90% is increased by 90, it is 190. 210 plus 190, it is 400. So, actual income, earlier it is 250 rupees, now it is 400 rupees. What is the question? Percentage increase in their combined income. What is the percentage increase? Difference, 150 by initial value, or starting value, 250 into 100. Now, see here, 0, 0, 5, 3 is 5, 5. 3 upon 5 is nothing but 60%. Third option should be your answer. Right? So A is 50% more than that of B. So A is compared with B. So B I am taking as 100 base. A should be 150. From there, A's income increased by 40%. So 40% would be 60 increase. So 210. B increased by 90%. Straight away 90% of 100 is 90. 190. Total combined income here 250. Next month it is 400. So percentage increase you can calculate. Question number 8, students. The price of sugar increased by 20%. The person wants to increase his expenditure by 8% only. By what percent should he decrease his consumption? Now, I will not get into solving using procedure because already I have explained the procedure for revenues, price into sales. So, what is expenditure? Expenditure is equal to price into consumption. It is a product of two variable question. So directly I can apply my net change formula. What is the formula for net change? X plus Y plus XY by 100%. This is one formula for net change. So expenditure is price into consumption. I am not using the procedure here. So we are directly using net change formula X plus Y plus XY by 100%. So price of sugar increased by 20%. So 20 plus consumption, we don't know why. How much it has decreased, we don't know. 20 into Y by 100 is equal to my net change. So what happened to my net change? Income is, expenditure is increased by 8%. So net change is 80. So 20 goes 5 times here. So 5Y plus Y, 6Y by 5 is equal to 20 if I send this side. 8 minus 20 is minus 12. Right? 6 goes 2 times. So Y is equal to minus 10%. Don't worry, I told you this minus sign indicates it is a decrease. So I can say 10% decrease. So 10% decrease is present in first option. Right? So I'm not getting into solving using procedure 100 and 100 and all those. So I am saying you can use net change formula. So price of sugar increased by 20%. Then consumption we don't know Y plus 20 into Y by 100 is equal to, there is an increase of 8% in the expenditure. So it is 8. So if you simplify this, so we'll get 20 goes 5 times, 6Y by 5 is 8 minus 20 is minus 12. Finally, I'm getting minus 10%. Don't worry, that minus sign indicates 10% decrease. I'll tell you one shortcut to solve this question. Apart from using this formula, there is one more shortcut. What is that? Here. If I take my price as 100, let us take as price as 100. Price of a sugar increased by 20%. So 100 should become how much? 120. But the person saying that he want to increase his expenditure by 8, right? That means he is increasing his expenditure only by 8%. So 100, he is increasing only up to 108. So from 120 to 108, find out the percentage decrease. 120 to 108, difference is 12 by 120 into 100. 12 goes 10 times. So I can say 10% decrease in the consumption. So price 100 increased by 20%. So when price has increased by 20%, consumption should also decrease, right? But here what happening is not, he's saying that if there is no change in the expenditure, then we would have a different thing. But he's increasing in the expenditure by 8%. That means he's increasing up to 108. So 120 to 108, consumption will decrease by, instead of 120 to 100, if the expenditure remains same, then you have to calculate from 120 to 100. But expenditure is increasing by 8%, so you have to there is an increase. There is increase of 8%. So expenditure 108. So from we have to find out percentage decrease from 120 to 108. So 12 upon 120 is nothing but 10%. Okay. Or you can use this x plus y plus xy by 100 formula. Okay. Next question, students. In a class of 40 students, 60% are girls. The average of the girls' marks is 72 and that of boys is 54. Then what are the average marks of the whole class? Okay. We try solving this question using alligation rule. Then I will also tell you average method is using oral approach, right? So let us look at alligation rule, alligation method. We'll solve this question using alligation rule or alligation method. So 60% are girls, so highest value is 60%. So boys should be 40%. I'm not calculating number of boys, girls. The ratio of number of boys or girls or percentage ratio will remain same. Girls average marks are 72. Boys average marks are 54. Overall average marks of the whole class, I don't know, I'm taking it as x. So this is 72 minus x. One second. This is 72 minus x, and here average minus lower value, x minus 54. We know that these two quantities will be always mixed in this ratio. So x minus 54 by 72 minus x is equal to 60% by 40%. How much is 60% by 40%? 3 upon 2. So cross multiply. 2x minus 108 is equal to 216 minus 3x. I am cross multiplying. 2x minus 108 is 3 into 72 is 216 minus 3x. I can say 5x is equal to 324. 216 plus 108, 324. 5, 6, 30, 24. 5, 4, 20, 40. 64.8. Third option should be my answer. 64.8. This is using your alligation rule. So 60% are girls, highest value. 40% are boys. Average mark 72. Boys average 54. Overall class average we don't know x. We know that these two quantities are always mixed in this ratio. So x minus 54 by 72 minus x is equal to 60 by 40, 3 by 2. If you take number of students also, you are going to get the same ratio. Okay, let us solve this question using oral approach, using your average oral approach. Let us look at this. Okay, class of 40 students, 60% are girls. So girls is equal to 6 into 4, 24, 60%. So boys should be 16, right? So total 40 students, 60% means 24. Girls, boys should be 40%, will be 16. Now, if you see here, 24 girls, their average marks is 72. Right? Average marks 72. And 16 boys, their average marks is 54. Right? So 24 boys, girls, their average marks is 72. 16 boys, their average marks is 54. Now tell me one thing. If boys average is also 72, girls average is 72, boys average is 72, then overall average will become 72, right? There is nothing to change. Girls average 72, boys average 72, then overall average will also become 72. There is nothing to change here. But boys average is not 72. Boys average is how much? 54. That means boys is how much less than actual average? 72 minus 54, 18 less. Right? 1 by 18 less, but 16 boys, so 16 into 18. How much is 16 into 18? 288. You should know tables, right? Otherwise, you have to multiply 16, 8, 128, 16 plus 12, 288. 16 into 8 is 288. So here I am saying overall when I'm see the point is like if boys are also 72, overall will become 72, but boys average is not 72, it is 54. That means how much less than girl? Each girl 72, boy 54, 72 minus 54, each boy is 18 less. Overall 16 boys, 16 into 18, 288 less. So when I'm merging these 40 boys and I'm finding out overall average, this group of boys are carrying 288 less to the group. So when I'm carrying 288 less, this 288 should be distributed among the group. So group of how many people are there? 40 people. So see here, 4 tens, 4 sevens are 28, 4 twos. So that means each student, when you're decreasing 288 is less here, when I'm distributing among 40 students, each student's average will come down by 7.2. So instead of 72, it will come down by 7.2. That means from this group, each girl has to give 7.2, 7.2, right? So overall average is coming down by 7.2. That means 64.8 is the new average of the group. That is your third option, students. Right? So this is an oral approach if you want to solve without using allegation rule. So girls average 72, 24 girls, 16 boys average 54. If boys is also 72, when I am adding them, overall average will be 72 only. But boys are 18 less. Each boy 18 less means 16 boys, 288 less. When I'm adding this group, so girls are 72. These boys, if they want to maintain 72, but they're 288 less overall. The 288 deficiency should be distributed among all the people in the group. When I'm adding them, all the people, right? So 40 people, if I divide 288, so each one will come down by 7.2. So 72 minus 7.2, it has to be 64.8. Okay, look at our last question, students. Amit donated 20% of his income at a school and deposited 20% of the remainder in his bank, right? If he is having rupees 12,800, then what is the income of Amit? So he is donating 20% to the school. So he has donated 20% to the school. Out of how much is remaining now? Remaining is 80%. Out of the remaining, he is depositing 20% of the remaining in the bank. So how much is depositing in the bank? 20% of the remaining. What is 10%? Remaining is 80%. 10% is 8, 20%, 16% in the bank. So obviously, his savings are 36%. If he is having 12,800 now, so out of his total 100%, school plus bank together is depositing 36%. So how much is remaining or having now? 64%. This 64 percentage is equal to 12,800. So what is the income of 100? 100%, how much? So this is simple, right? 64 2s 128, right? So into 200 times, so it should be 20,000. 20,000 is in second option. You can cross multiply also. 100 into 12,800 by 64. 64 2 times 128. Instead of doing that, I am saying into 2 times. So it is 200 basically. Into 200 should be 20,000. That, students, we'll stop here. Hope you understood the concept of percentage, the shortcuts, the approaches, oral approach. So whatever maybe the oral approach or shortcuts we are used, this you will be able to, you have to apply in the exam. This you will be able to do only after practice. So when you listen now while explaining the questions, you feel that, Arey, Sara start very well, fantastic, but you feel that I have understood it. But tomorrow when you are going to the examination hall, if you want to remember all these, if you want to put into practice there, if you want to apply in your examination, the key is you have to practice. Take more number of questions from previous year papers, from your sectional tests, from your mock tests. Please do practice. For every question, once you solve each and every question, for every question, you need to look at an alternate approach. For every question, when you solve, okay, is there any alternate approach? Is there a better approach to solve? Is there any shortcut to solve? So you have to think that way. Right, students? So we'll stop here. So hope you understood this session. We'll come more of these sessions using. We'll come up with more these type of sessions in near future. So please do practice, students. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay home. Stay safe. Prepare with time classes, students.